Chosen one, you didn't find this message. This message found you, and it's not here to entertain you, it's here to awaken you. Because deep down, you already know, you were never meant to live an ordinary life. You felt it, haven't you? That quiet tension inside you, the one that whispers, there's something more. That pull that won't let you settle, that knowing that you were born for something far greater than what you've been told. This is not just a video. This is your turning point. You were chosen, not by chance, but by design, and now the future is waiting for your command. Take a breath, let everything else fade away for a moment, because what you're about to hear isn't meant for everyone. This message is sacred, and if it resonates, it's because it was always meant for you. Right now, the future stands in front of you like an untouched canvas, and your thoughts, your focus, your energy, your choices, they are the brush. You see, most people let life happen to them. They wait, they doubt, they settle. But you're not most people. You were never meant to fit into the mold. You were born to shatter it. And now the universe is watching, not with judgment, but with anticipation, because something inside you is stirring, something ancient, something powerful. And it's time you remember what you were always meant to become. You're not powerless. You're not small, and you're not too late. You are standing on the edge of a decision that will alter everything, and it doesn't begin tomorrow. It begins now. Because here's the truth. No one ever told you. The future isn't written. It's waiting. It's soft, it's shapeable, and it's watching to see who's bold enough to reach out and mold it. And that person is you, but you have to decide. Will you continue to drift through life, or will you rise and create it? You were born with a spark, a frequency, a blueprint within your soul that no one else carries. But spark without ignition fades, blueprint without action decays, and dreams without decisions, they stay dreams. So here's what you need to understand. You don't need more time. You don't need more signs. You just need one thing, a decision, right now, right here. The moment you choose to believe in your power, you activate a reality that has been waiting for your command. Look around you. This world is built by people who decided to stop waiting and start creating. Every revolution, every transformation, every miracle, it all began with one soul who said, no more. No more fear, no more delay, no more pretending to be powerless. And now, chosen one, it's your turn. The pain you've carried, it shaped you. The silence you endured, it refined you. The heartbreak, the setbacks, the confusion, they weren't punishments. They were preparations, because now, right now, you are standing at the doorway to your greatest self, and only one question remains. Will you step through it? This is your invitation, but it's also your responsibility, because once you see your power, you can no longer pretend you don't have it. You can't unknow the truth. You can't go back to sleep. You've woken up, and the universe is listening. So what will you speak into it? What future will you claim? Most people wait. They wait for the perfect time. They wait for permission. They wait for a miracle. But you don't need permission. You are the miracle. You are the evidence that greatness still walks this earth. And if you dare to step into that power, everything changes. Doors open, people align, paths appear. Because you're no longer hoping. You're commanding. Let me tell you this. The greatest power you'll ever hold is not control. It's clarity. Clarity that your life is yours. Clarity that your thoughts shape your world. Clarity that every single moment is a new opportunity to align with the version of you that's been waiting to emerge. That version of you. It's not far away. It's not later. It's now. So let me ask you something no one else has dared to. What if everything you've been waiting for is already inside you? What if the only thing missing is your decision to become it? This is not motivation. This is revelation. This is remembrance. Because the moment you decide to own your identity as the chosen one, the universe shifts. Everything starts moving toward you. Why? Because you're finally moving toward it. Have you ever wondered if it's not the world that needs to change, but you that needs to awaken? If this message stirred something deep inside that's not a coincidence, it's alignment. You didn't find this video by mistake. It was waiting for you. Now it's your move. Subscribe to this channel if you're ready to step into the version of yourself that no longer waits. And in the comments, declare it boldly. I am ready. Let this be the moment your soul and your future finally meet. Your next chapter begins with a decision. Make it now, and let the universe witness it. If this message resonates with the fire inside you, write in the comments, I am ready. This isn't about engagement. This is about alignment. Those 3 words aren't for us. They're for you. A declaration, a signal, a moment where your soul and your future lock eyes and shake hands. And if you've come this far, chosen one, you already know the real journey begins now. But let me tell you something no one ever said out loud. You weren't meant to fit in. You were meant to break every pattern that kept others asleep, to confuse systems built on silence, to interrupt the momentum of mediocrity. And you've already started, haven't you? They sensed something different about you. They couldn't put it into words. They didn't know what to call it, so they labeled it too much, too intense, too sensitive. But what they were really saying was, I don't recognize your frequency. Because you came carrying something they forgot, and now that it's waking up inside of you, they feel it too, and they're scared, not of you, but of what you remind them they've buried. But you can't unfeel this. You've crossed a threshold. You can't go back into numbness. You've seen too much, felt too much, heard the whisper behind the noise, and now it echoes in your bones. You were sent here on assignment, not to repeat cycles, not to maintain comfort, not to simply survive. You were sent to build what's never been built, to become what's never been seen, to rise in a way that forces even the sky to shift. This isn't about status or fame or recognition. It's about remembrance, remembering that you are the key, not just to your freedom, but to someone else's awakening. Every time you choose courage over silence, every time you move despite the fear, every time you speak when it would be easier to disappear, you create permission for others to do the same, because power doesn't always roar. Sometimes it stands quietly and refuses to shrink. And that's what you're doing now. So pause and ask yourself, what if this moment is sacred? What if everything I've called delay was preparation? What if I'm exactly where I'm supposed to be? Because when the soul begins to remember, the mind wants to rush. But don't rush this. Don't try to leap ahead. This is the unveiling, the unfolding, the divine recognition. You are not behind. You are not broken. You are becoming, and the universe is not testing you. It's tuning you, fine-tuning you to the exact frequency you'll need to hold when everything aligns. So what do you do now? You hold the frequency. You choose to believe anyway. You anchor yourself in the truth that's trying to rise in your chest. You stop arguing for your limitations. You stop measuring your future by your memory. You stop acting like the past is the ceiling, because it's not. You are the ceiling breaker, the chain shatterer, the timeline disruptor. And when you feel the fear creep back in, smile. That's just your old self trying to protect a version of you that no longer exists. Thank it. Bless it and let it go, because from here on out, you walk differently, you speak differently, you decide differently, not because you're faking confidence, but because you've remembered your origin. You were never lost. You were only asleep. Now you're wide awake. Chosen one. Something is rising inside you, not anger, not fear, but friction. 2 forces inside of you, pulling in opposite directions, the version of you that survived, and the version of you that was born to lead. This is the war no one talks about, the silent, invisible war, not in the world, but in your soul. And right now you are standing in the middle of it. You feel it, don't you? The resistance. One part of you says, go, create, rise, change everything. But the other whispers, stay where it's safe. And it's in this tension that the chosen are made, not in the absence of fear, but in the refusal to obey it. Because here's the secret, your greatest power isn't in your talents. It's not in your knowledge, it's in your decision to stop fighting yourself. You were trained by struggle, you were molded in silence, and all those nights you cried quietly, all those moments you felt unseen, all the times you asked, why me? Now you know the answer, because you are the one strong enough to win the war within. Most people never confront themselves. They run from discomfort, they numb it, deny it, distract themselves from it. But you were chosen to go deeper. You were chosen to face the shadows in your mind and rewrite the narrative they've held you hostage with. This is not easy. This is not glamorous. This is sacred, because the battle between who you've been and who you're becoming is where your true power is revealed. Let's be honest. You've doubted yourself. You've questioned your worth. You've told yourself stories like, I'm not ready. What if I fail? What if I lose everything trying? But what if the real question is, what will you lose if you don't try? What if staying the same is the only real danger? What if playing small is the biggest risk you could ever take? This is your moment of confrontation. Look your fear in the face and ask, what are you protecting me from? What story am I still believing that no longer belongs in my future? Because fear is never about truth. It's about protection, and it's time to tell your fear. Thank you. But I've got this now. You are not your past. You are not your patterns. You are not your pain. You are the architect of your becoming. Every day you wake up with two voices. One says, let's go, let's build, let's change everything. The other says, don't move, it's safer here. And every day a choice is made, not once, but every moment, every thought, every breath. And the more you choose expansion, the more the old version of you begins to fall away. That version of you that hesitated, that apologized for being too much, that waited for permission, that avoided their reflection. That version is not your enemy, it was your armor. But now, you don't need armor, you need wings. So yes, there will be friction. You're not broken. You're transforming. You're not losing yourself. You're shedding what no longer serves you, and the world may not understand this shift. They'll say, you've changed. You're different now. You don't seem like yourself. And you'll smile. Because they're right. You've stopped being who they needed you to be and started becoming who you were born to be. This internal war is not a curse. It's a sign, a signal that your soul is realigning. When the old resists the new, it means you're on the threshold of something sacred. But most people stop here. They feel the friction and turn back. They confuse discomfort with danger. They believe resistance means not meant for me. But you know better. You've been chosen to push through it. Let me make this clear. You are not weak for feeling stuck. You are not failing because it hurts. You are not behind because it's hard. You are birthing a new reality, and birth is messy, it's painful, but it's holy. And once you're on the other side of this internal battle, there is no going back. Because you'll know you didn't just survive, you resurrected. So what now? You've seen the battle, you've felt the pull, and now the question is, will I choose who I was? Or will I become who I'm meant to be? Because you can't do both. You can't live in the safety of the past and the power of your future at the same time. You must choose. And when you do, the entire universe shifts in your favor. This is your alignment moment. Write it in the comments. I choose who I'm becoming. Say it loud, say it with fire, say it with certainty. Let the old version of you hear it. Let the fear hear it. Let the universe echo it, because once you speak it, it begins. And here's the truth, chosen one, this war within you. It's not proof that something is wrong. It's confirmation that something sacred is waking up. You are not broken. You are breaking through. Because growth doesn't always feel like elevation. Sometimes it feels like confusion. Sometimes it feels like exhaustion. Sometimes it feels like everything you thought you were is being stripped away. And maybe it is, because who you truly are has no room for the masks you've been taught to wear. Let that sink in. Every version of you that learned to shrink, to settle, to say yes when you meant no, to stay quiet when you wanted to scream. Those versions were survival. But you weren't born just to survive. You were born to disrupt, to rise, to bring an entirely new frequency into this world. And frequencies this strong, they shake things, they stir the air, they shatter cages, they disturb comfort zones that never had your name on them to begin with. So when the discomfort comes, don't run, sit with it, honor it, because it's not here to destroy you, it's here to strip away what you no longer need. You don't need the fear that kept you frozen. You don't need the guilt that silenced your power. You don't need the weight of others' expectations wrapped around your purpose. You only need one thing, a decision to become who you were always meant to be. That decision, it's not a one-time thing. It's a daily alignment, a moment-by-moment returning. Every time you feel pulled back into your old self, you pause and you choose again. You choose expansion over safety, purpose over comfort, truth over pretending. And that choice is what sets the chosen apart, not perfection, not popularity, not approval, but the courage to keep choosing power even when fear offers you a safer exit. And yes, it will feel lonely at times, not because you're wrong, but because you're ahead. You are walking a path carved by your soul, not by trends, not by family, not even by logic, and that's why it feels unfamiliar, because the old world doesn't recognize this version of you. But that's not your job anymore, to be recognized. It's your job to remember that when you feel lost, you're actually close, closer than ever to the real you. So breathe. The fear isn't here to stop you. It's here to signal that you're leaving the version of yourself who used to live in limitation. You're stepping into wholeness, into truth, into command. And the moment you stop resisting that transition, you'll feel the shift. The inner battle won't end overnight, but it will become easier to navigate, because now you know you are not the chaos. You are the calm inside it. Chosen one, you've already faced the first war, the quiet one, the one that lived inside your chest, between fear and faith, silence and roar, survival and destiny. And now something has shifted. You've tasted your own power. You've stepped across a line. But here's the truth most people don't realize. When you win the war within, the world outside begins to change. Not because the world is different, but because you are. You see, the outer world is not separate from your inner self. It is a mirror, a perfect reflection. The people you attract, the situations you face, the opportunities that appear or disappear, they are echoes of your energy. So now the question becomes, what are you broadcasting? This world doesn't respond to your wants. It doesn't listen to your words. It responds to one thing only, your alignment. You don't attract what you say. You attract what you believe, what you expect, what you consistently embody. And right now, you're being called to embody power. That's why everything around you may feel unstable, shaky, unfamiliar. Because the moment you begin to command a new reality, the old one will start to crack. Friends will fall away. Doors may shut. Old patterns will resist. Not because you're doing something wrong, but because you're doing something right. The people who used to match your frequency, they can't hear you anymore. You've outgrown the wavelength. You're not being punished. You're being repositioned. Because when your inner energy shifts, your external world must rearrange. It's law. And this is where most people panic. They see the losses, the changes, the chaos, and they assume the path is broken. But the path isn't breaking. It's bending. Bending toward you. Bending toward the version of you that finally showed up. The question, Will you trust the shift? Will you command the outer world with the same faith you used to tame your inner one? Because now, chosen one, it's time to create with precision. Not with fear, not with doubt, but with full awareness that your thoughts are instructions, your words, blueprints, your emotions, energetic magnets. Every time you dwell on something, you breathe life into it. So what are you breathing life into? If you expect struggle, you will find it. If you expect delay, you will live inside it. But if you expect alignment, the universe will align. This is not fantasy. This is physics. Energy is real. Vibration is real. And your life is not happening to you. It's responding to you. You've heard the saying, your thoughts create your reality. But let me take it deeper. Your consistent focus creates your timeline. And right now, the timeline is shifting faster than ever before because you're not waiting anymore. You're moving, you're choosing, you're creating. And yes, there will still be moments of doubt. There will still be days where fear creeps back in. That's normal. But now you know something most don't. You can't control every circumstance, but you can control your energy. And when you do, circumstances start bending. You don't need to force your way forward. You only need to align with the version of you who already has what you want, because that version of you exists right now, in another timeline, in another reality, waiting for you to catch up. And when you match their frequency, reality collapses. The distance vanishes. The future becomes now. This is how powerful you are. One shift in thought, one shift in expectation, one shift in energy, and the entire world around you reorders itself, not overnight, but rapidly and inevitably. Because now you're not reacting, you're commanding. Look at your life right now. What do you see? What patterns keep repeating? What situations feel stuck? What relationships feel forced? These aren't coincidences, they're clues, they're feedback. They're showing you where you are still operating from fear instead of faith. And this is the moment to make a new choice. Speak differently, expect differently, think differently. Because when your thoughts elevate, your timeline accelerates. And when your expectations shift, so does your experience. But let's be honest, this isn't about pretending to be positive. This isn't about denying the challenges. It's about seeing through them. It's about knowing that even in the storm, you are the one holding the compass, because the chosen ones don't need guarantees. They are the guarantee. Your energy is the seed. Your belief is the soil, and your action is the water. Together, they grow realities. So, chosen one, what will you plant today? What will you choose to align with? Because the moment you say, I'm ready to see the world respond to my power, you activate it. Not someday, not in the future, but right now. If this message lands in your spirit, write this below. I'm done reacting. I'm ready to command. Let it be a statement, a decree, a moment of cosmic agreement, because from here on out, you're not chasing results, you're aligning with inevitability. Chosen one, you've awakened the power, you've started shifting your reality. You've seen how thought becomes motion and how alignment bends the outside world. But now, it's time to move differently, no longer from reaction, no longer from panic. Now, from divine strategy. Most people live on autopilot. They wake up, react, survive. They repeat yesterday and call it a plan. But you are being called to design, to create with intent, to move with precision, because your future isn't just waiting to happen, it's waiting to be built. Let's make this clear. You're not here to hustle blindly. You're not here to throw energy at everything and hope something sticks. You're here to align and aim, to move when the soul says move, to pause when the spirit says wait, and when the move comes from that sacred place, it becomes unstoppable. Because now, you're no longer forcing life, you're flowing with it. This is divine strategy, listening before acting, aligning before pushing, trusting before understanding. moving with purpose, not panic, and that changes everything. You've seen what happens when you act out of fear. You chase, you shrink, you scatter your power. But when you move with clarity, the entire universe rearranges to meet you. It brings the right people, the right moments, the perfect instructions, not because you begged, but because you believed. Divine timing is real. But it's not passive, it's not sit and wait, it's stand in alignment and listen. Because the universe is always speaking, in patterns, in whispers, in nudges and inner tugs. And if you slow down just enough, you'll hear it. You'll feel it when it's time. You'll know when a door is yours to knock on and when it's meant to be walked past. Because strategy isn't about control, it's about cooperation. Co-creating with something higher than logic, something ancient, something sacred. And once you step into that flow, you no longer fear what's next. You don't need to see the whole staircase, you only need the next step. And when you trust the next step, the next one appears, then the next. And suddenly, you're no longer hoping to reach the mountaintop, you're already climbing it. But here's where most fall short. They wait for perfect clarity. They say things like, once I'm sure, I'll move. Once I know it will work, I'll commit. But that's not strategy. That's stagnation in disguise. Because divine movement isn't born from certainty. It's born from alignment. You move before it makes sense. You leap before it's guaranteed. You trust before you see the full map. Chosen one, this is your moment to lead yourself. To act not out of pressure, but out of purpose. You don't need to figure it all out today. You only need to decide who you're becoming and let that future version guide your next move. Because when you move from your higher self, you step into timelines that would have never existed otherwise. So stop trying to push every wall down. Not every obstacle is meant to be forced. Some are meant to be outgrown. Some are invitations to reroute, and some disappear the moment you rise. Because strategy isn't always loud. Sometimes it's silent surrender. And when you surrender to higher flow, you begin to experience supernatural momentum. That's when the impossible starts bending, the delayed starts arriving, the closed doors start swinging open. Why? Because you're no longer chasing outcomes, you're embodying the version of you who already has them. You're not begging life to change. You're aligning with the life that's already waiting. And yes, there will be resistance, not because you're doing it wrong, but because your old life will always try to defend its existence. Every time you evolve, your past will ask you to reconsider. But you must move anyway, because strategy isn't just knowing what to do, it's knowing when not to look back. So ask yourself, what would the version of me who already has it all do next? What does alignment look like for them? How do they think, speak, walk, decide, and then become that? Not someday, not when it's convenient. Now, this is divine strategy, acting from belief, choosing from expansion, trusting that even the delay is alignment, knowing that every detour still leads to destiny. This is how the chosen ones move, and this is how you will rise. If this truth lands in your soul, write in the comments, I move with purpose, I wait with power. Let it be your confirmation, your anchor, your silent command to the universe. I'm no longer rushing, I'm walking with wisdom. Chosen one. There comes a moment when time itself begins to fold, not because the world has changed, but because you have. This is that moment. You've aligned, you've surrendered, you've moved with purpose, and now the universe is doing something it's never done before. It's accelerating around you. Most people think change is slow, that dreams take decades, that healing takes years, that breakthroughs come after endless struggle. But you are not most people. You've stepped into a new law, a new rhythm, because when belief meets embodiment, time collapses. Let's make it clear, you're no longer becoming, you are. You're not waiting. You're living in the reality you used to only imagine, and because you finally accepted your power, your future is showing up faster than you were taught to believe was possible. You're not chasing, you're attracting, you're not forcing, you're commanding, you're not hoping, you're knowing. And that knowing is collapsing years into weeks, weeks into days, days into now. Do you feel it? The space between who you were and who you're becoming, it's shrinking. The gap between your intention and your manifestation, it's closing because time isn't fixed. It bends to frequency, and your frequency has changed. You've moved from fear to flow, from doubt to decision, from reaction to creation, and with every step forward, the timeline shifts again. People arrive, doors open, money flows, health stabilizes, ideas download, connections happen, not because you hustled harder, but because you became the version of yourself who receives them. This is the secret. You don't get what you want. You get what you are. So what are you being right now? Are you operating as the past version of you, the one who hesitates, second guesses, shrinks, or are you showing up as the one who's already arrived? Because every moment is a mirror, and right now, reality is reflecting your embodiment. You no longer need permission. You don't need proof. You've become the proof. You don't need the world to validate you. You validate yourself with every step. And the more you do, the faster your world reshapes itself, because frequency dictates speed, and you are moving at the speed of trust. Let's break this down. If your belief says it's coming, you'll always live in waiting. If your belief says it's already mine, you collapse the timeline. You shorten the distance between dream and demonstration. Because reality does not follow time, it follows conviction. And here's the shift most never make. They keep hoping, wishing, trying to be positive, but they never embody the result. They keep acting like it's far away, and so it stays that way. But you've made a different decision. You've chosen to walk like it's done, to speak like it's happening, to move like it's already real. And that energy, that vibration, it changes everything. Because now, you're not praying for a miracle. You're becoming one. Your thoughts are clear, your frequency is high, your actions are intentional, and the universe is responding, faster than ever before, because you've given it a new set of instructions. I am ready now. I am worthy now. I am available now. And when you say that with your energy, reality bends. You may notice it already, things happening faster, coincidences stacking, breakthroughs arriving unannounced, people calling at the perfect time, emails showing up with opportunities, solutions appearing out of nowhere. This is not random. This is alignment made visible. This is what it feels like to be fully in flow, fully in power, fully present. But here's your reminder. Don't slow down just because you're ahead. Don't dim your light just because things are working. Now is not the time to question the speed. Now is the time to keep going, because momentum compounds, and you are in divine motion. You've entered the phase of expansion, rapid expansion, the kind most people dream of but never witness, because they never let go long enough to trust it. But you have. And now you're seeing what happens when you stop being the person who waits and become the person who commands. So ask yourself today, where am I still playing small? What version of me still thinks it has to wait? Where am I still slowing down because I fear too much, too fast? And when those answers come, don't shrink, shift, choose again, re-embody, realign. Because now you understand, time is not your master, time is your servant. If you feel this acceleration in your soul, right below, I collapse time by being who I already am. Let the universe hear you. Let the old version of you hear it. Let the future bow to your decision. Because this is what it means to walk in power. Chosen one, do you feel that? The silence right before something shifts forever. It's not fear, it's not tension, it's not uncertainty, it's alignment. It's what it feels like to stand fully inside your own power, unafraid, unshaken, and finally unchangeable. Because what once felt like resistance now feels like fuel. And what once felt like pressure now feels like proof that you are exactly where you're meant to be. You're not waiting for destiny anymore. You've realized something greater. You are destiny. You've stopped searching for signs. You've stopped begging for breakthroughs because now you understand. You were always the miracle you were praying for. You didn't need another message. You didn't need one more affirmation. What you needed was this moment. This confrontation, this inner stillness, this cosmic clarity where you realize I'm not becoming powerful. I am power personified. So here you are, not at the end, but at the beginning of everything. Because now you finally know who you are. And once you know, you cannot unknow. You cannot go back to shrinking. You cannot pretend you're unaware. You cannot unsee your own light. And this changes everything. It changes how you wake up, how you breathe, how you think, how you choose. It even changes what you no longer tolerate. Because when you realize you are eternity in motion, you stop settling for temporary approval. You stop shrinking to fit into the minds of people who were never designed to see you. This is the breaking point, but it's also the birthing place. A new you is not coming, it's already here, and your job now is not to doubt it, not to delay it, but to live it. The old version of you, it served its purpose, it survived, it endured, it got you here, but now it must be released with love, with honor, but without hesitation, because you are stepping into your final form. You are no longer a seeker, you are the signal. You are no longer the echo, you are the voice. You don't just carry the light, you radiate it. You've stopped reacting to life. You are now the one directing it, and the world is beginning to respond. Everything that once felt distant is now drawing closer. Everything that felt impossible is now unfolding in divine precision. Because you no longer doubt, you decide, and every decision is a frequency, and every frequency reshapes reality. So when you say, I will rise, you do, and when you say, I am ready, everything aligns to meet you. And when you say, it is already mine, time collapses to deliver it. This is not poetry. This is power. This is not wishful thinking. This is embodied truth. You're no longer in waiting. You're in wielding identity, wielding legacy, wielding purpose. But let me warn you, the world may try to pull you back. Tests will come. Delays may knock at your door. People from your past may reappear. Doubt may whisper from the corners of your mind. But now you know better. And because you know, you won't fold. Why? Because you've already decided. You are not the version of you who quits. You are not the version who forgets. You are the one who continues, even in the silence, even in the shadows, even when no one is clapping. Because this time, you're not moving for applause. You're moving from alignment, from awareness, from command. This is not motivation. This is memory. Your soul remembering its assignment, your voice remembering its frequency, your path remembering its source. And now, the world must adjust, because you are no longer the one who bends. You are the one who shapes. You are not the victim of your story. You are the author, and your pen is made of decision. So write boldly, write without apology, paint the future with unapologetic truth, speak visions that terrify your former self, step into rooms you once thought were too high, build things that make no sense to those who still live in fear. Because you no longer live there. You've moved out, you've moved on, you've moved up. This is what the final form of power looks like. Quiet, focused, certain, uncompromising, divine. You don't need to chase anymore. Everything you seek is already making its way to you. Not because of chance, but because of command. Because you now live with such clarity that reality has no choice but to obey. That's the truth no one tells you. The universe bends for the one who no longer doubts. And you no longer doubt. You know. You don't just hope for miracles, you generate them. You don't ask for confirmation, you become it. You don't beg for alignment, you are alignment. So from this moment forward, everything changes because you changed. The old patterns break. The old fears vanish. The old cycles dissolve. And what remains is truth, your path, your power. And now it's your turn to lead, not from ego, not from pride, but from remembrance. Because when you walk in this power, others awaken. When you speak from this clarity, others rise. When you live in this alignment, you don't just change your life, you change the world. So now write this below. I remember who I am. Let it seal the shift. Let it activate the new reality. Let it echo into timelines you've never touched before. Because this is not the end of a video, it's the beginning of everything. You are the chosen one. And now, you are no longer asking for the future, you are commanding it. Eternity is no longer out there, it's in your hands.